the latest episode of On the Beaten Track. Managed to get this session off to a flyer. Actually lost the fish earlier on this morning, and then got the rods back out, and then this one's literally just gone off. It's gone 26.6. Give me the absolute fight of my life. I'm really lucky to get in, to be honest, just flat rodding me on a locked up clutch. Got me locked up solid in a couple of sets of pads down the margins. Luckily I had my mate Steve here to get the rods out the way, and finally managed to bundle it in the net. Didn't actually think it was going to go this big at first. We only thought it was about 19 when we saw it in the water, but absolutely made up. We need to check the photos, but I think it could be a new 25 for the venue, so happy days. Still another 24 hours to go as well.
We need my heart, wait for my heart, wait till we go and they never see the call. We don't know them, we don't want to. And I've had enough for you, you've had enough for me. We should get out, we should get way out.
Right, well, pressure's off a little bit now. So made up with that one. I lost the fish this morning, must have been about 11 o'clock. Just stood chatting with Dave, and the bobbin on the right hand had just hit the deck, massive drop back. Lifted into the fish, couple of head shakes and the hook just sprung out, unfortunately. So everything was perfectly fine with the rig, so can't really explain what's happened. Just obviously hasn't hooked itself properly, unfortunately. But managed to make up with that one. So I'm lucky to get that one in the net, to be honest. I don't think I've ever put so much pressure on a fish in my life. It was just flat rodding me on a completely locked up clutch. Skirted along the edge of every single pad it could and managed to bury itself in a set of pads down the margin. Went completely solid for a while. Luckily I had my mate Steve here, he just popped down for the cuppa. Managed to whip the other two rods in. And then after it being solid for a good couple of minutes, just managed to ping its way through and out into open water. I really didn't think it was going to be that big, to be honest. When we saw it in the edge, we both sort of put 18, 19 on it, really. Then it wasn't until we actually got it on the mat we realised it was a fair bit bigger. I did say it might have been a new 25, but I'm pretty sure after looking at some photos, I think it's a fish known as tubs. And I've just checked back on the footage and it's a little bit out of focus at times, unfortunately, so apologies for that. But like I say, I'm just happy to be off the mark and take the pressure off. So there's a fair few fish still in the pads. I said arrived yesterday and dropped into the pads after Nanga had left last night, and there's a few fish in there, some boshing every now and again, and then I think they moved out last night. It went quite cold last night with the wind. It just went completely dead, didn't hear anything after sort of 11, half 11. I think as it's warmed up again today, they've moved back in. So there's a fair few fish in there now, been boshing over the last few hours, so hopefully it won't be the last fish of this session. So I'll just keep you updated anyway and let you know how we're doing.
Don't want to. And I've had enough for you, you've had enough for me. We should get out, we should get way out. And I've had enough of this, you've had enough of this. We should get out, we should get way out. And I've had enough for me, you've had enough for you. We should get out, we should get way out. And they've had enough of us, we've had enough of them. We should get out, we should get way out.
Right, well, just gone midnight. This is fish number 2. Slightly smaller this time. This one's gone 19 on the dot. So really happy to have 2 fish in one session. I was really lucky with this one. I was fishing locked up to the pads, and it's just, as soon as I've lifted the rod, it's just kited out into open water away from any danger. So not too many problems getting this one in. So I might not recast the rod tonight. I might wait till the morning because I was fishing pretty tight to the pads and don't really want to risk a recast during the night. So just top off with a little bit more bait and then recast when it goes light.
We should get way out. And I've had enough for you, you've had enough for me. We should get out, we should get way out. And I've had enough of this, you've had enough of this. We should get out, we should get way out.
Good morning, it's 7 AM and it's been absolute chaos this morning. Basically it went really quiet after I had that fish last night, and then around 6 o'clock my middle rod's gone off. I've lifted into that fish, started playing it. Seconds later my right hand rod has ripped off. Obviously I'm fishing completely locked up. The rod has been ripped out the backrest, the reel slammed into the alarm. Somehow the line's tangled itself all around the alarm, so I'm in a state of panic basically. I'm playing the fish that I've got on. Luckily that fish is kited away from the pads, So I'm trying to untangle the mess on the other rod while still playing the fish. The fish on the right hand rod was still on it, managed to bury itself right in the centre of the pads. It's sort of gone in and cut through. So there's nothing I could really do. I've just had to leave that rod as it was. But managed to get the first fish in the net. Gone back to the rod, the fish is still on, but it's right in the centre of the pad. It's wallowing on the surface. And then, long story short, I shouted Dave, we got in the boat, got above it, and it just managed to spit the hook, unfortunately. And I shouldn't be gutted because I've got a fish in the net. It's a lovely fish. I'm going to get out and show you in a second. But I can't help but think that the fish I've lost was a real good, and I've never seen power like that to completely rip a rod off the backrest. And even when I had the rod in my hand, it was flat rodding me as it was powering through the pads. So, like I say, I'm a little bit gutted, but there's just nothing I can do about that. I've never had a double take on here before, and funny enough, we were only chatting about it last night. But it's just one of those things, unfortunately. I'm going to get me consolation prize out and show you it now.
You don't want to.
There he is, my consolation prize. Like I say, I really shouldn't be gutted with a fish like this. It's absolutely stunning, lovely dark mirror. But I can't help but think that fish I've just lost was one of the real big ones, just by the sheer power of it. But like I say, I'm happy to have one on the bank. This one's gone 19-1. So I've got the rest of today. I'll have to be off by about 3 o'clock, so still time. I think I've had bites up until around 3 o'clock before in this swim, so fingers crossed I might be able to make up for the last one. But even if I don't, to say it's been a brilliant session, being able to put 3 fish on the bank. So yeah, brilliant session. Right, so all 3 rods are back out on the spots now. I'll just give the area a fresh hit of bait. The fish are clearly feeding. So I've had 3 runs in the space of a few hours, so they're clearly on the bait. So I've gone in and put another couple of kilos of the tuna out with the stick. Just while we're on the subject of bait, I thought I'd just run you through a little tip that I put into my own fishing quite a lot, and that's to rehydrate or wash out my baits. It's really simple. All I do is take one of the new Tracker Pure Flow buckets, put around about 1 kilo of boilies in, fill the bottom half of the bucket with water, just enough to cover your hook baits, and then give them a good glug of the tuna L030. What that does, even when your baits are fresh out of the freezer and just defrosted, they'll always lose a certain amount of moisture. So what you're doing, you're taking the lake water and the tuna L030, and then baits will suck that right into the very centre, so they become completely hydrated. And obviously you've got 2 benefits. They're now packed full of the tuna L030, and they take on a washed out appearance, which just makes them look like they've been in a lake a long time. So I do think the fish treat them with a bit less caution. Obviously just bear in mind, they do go quite soft when they've been in there for a while, so if you're fishing any sort of distance with a throwing stick, you just need to bear that in mind. But as I say, I think it's definitely an edge on busy day ticks, especially silty lakes as well, because it prevents the silt from seeping into the boilies when they're on the bottom. So yeah, as I said, it's something I use quite a lot in my own fishing, so might be something you want to try.
Burn this house down if we destroy everything we...
Right, well, this has turned into a real session of mixed emotions. Literally seconds after filming that last little section for the diary, middle rod's gone off. I've connected with an incredibly powerful fish. It's just flat rodding me from the second I picked the rod up. Obviously I'm fishing locked up against the pads, and I always like to walk back, so I've lifted the rod, walked back. But the problem is I'm on a fairly small platform. I've got the bivvy as close to the rods as I can, so I haven't really got that far to go. So literally every time I've lowered the rod to try and gain some line, the fish is just bolting for the pads, flat rodding me. Nothing I could do with it. I've managed to turn it away from danger where I've actually hooked it, so it's coming out into open water, so I thought it was safe. And then it's changed its mind, it's turned, powered straight back down into the main body of pads, started kiting down the margin, I've given it a load of side strain, and it's straight in the hook. So understandably devastated at the moment. It felt like a really good fish, really powerful, and there was a lot of weight there as well. So it's just one of those sessions really. So that's 3 lost and 3 landed, so it's not the sort of odds you want really, but it's just been a couple of unfortunate circumstances really. So I've still got time to hopefully swing the scores in my favour. I've just put another kilo of the bait out straight away because they're clearly going through it. I said put another 2 kilo out earlier, and I've obviously gone straight through that, and I've had a bite straight away again. So I'm going to tie a new rig up, get the rod back out, and then hope I can even the scores before I have to leave.
And I've had enough with this, you've had enough with this. We should get out, we should get way out. And I've had enough for me, you've had enough for you. We should get out, we should get way out.
Right, so that's it for another session. Like I say, I'm going home, sort of mixed emotions really. On the one hand, I'm made up to have had 3 fish because that's a really good session at any time of the year on here. But I think that fish that I lost right at the end there is going to haunt me for quite a while. I really do think that it was one of the big ones. I say there was just absolutely nothing I can do with it, and I can honestly say in all the years carp fishing, I don't think I've ever hooked anything as powerful as that. It was just flat rodding me, actually pulling me forward on the platform. Like I say, the hook's just straightened out. I think the most frustrating part about it is if it was, you know, if I'd had 3 hook pulls, I could say that it was something I could change or something I was doing wrong, but it's just the circumstances that I've lost them in really. Say one a double run which I just couldn't do anything about, and one having a hook straighten out, which has never happened to me before. So it's just one of those things, but it's what keeps you coming back, isn't it? So I'll see you again soon.